How sore are they going to feel after a loss like that against Crystal Palace? They probably should have done better, considering midweek they've beaten them 3-0. It was a much changed side, obviously.
Yeah, obviously struggling with consistency at the minute. United, obviously it's not been the greatest of starts, and obviously we thought they'd get some momentum with the win last Saturday and obviously Tuesday night. But the players have got to dust themselves off. They've got a huge game on Tuesday night here against Galatasaray, and then obviously another home game next weekend. So the games come thick and fast. You've always got a game to put it right, and hopefully they can do that. But there's certainly a lot of work to do. And
the fans booing at full time as well. Is that discontent just because of a loss, or is that a message to Ten Hag? Is that reading too much into it?
I think it's probably reading a little bit too much into it. I think it's a message of getting beat. Man United don't get beat. You come here, you lose, expect to get booed. I think that's the way. What I would say is Galatasaray becomes a massive game.
Yeah.
Talking about Palace, you've got the next Palace player, Zaha, playing on Tuesday here will give them a real threat too. So probably there's going to be a continuation of this Palace thing. Wilfried Zaha coming back to see what he can do. So it's going to be a huge game.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I'm not playing against him.
Oh, yeah.
It's difficult times for Ten Hag, and we've had a lot of off-the-pitch problems, obviously Anthony, and it is worth mentioning, by the way, that the club have now said that he's back in training and he is available for selection. But we've obviously seen Mason Greenwood go out on loan to Getafe. We've seen a lot of off-pitch problems that the manager's had to deal with, and then injury after injury. Is last season perhaps and the World Cup catching up with some of the players, or is there something, I don't know, even more sinister? There just seem to be a lot of injuries, not just at United but across the Premier League at the moment.
I think so. Regarding the World Cup, I think that was always going to be the case. Having a Winter World Cup was never ideal, but it was what it was. Obviously players have limited time off in the summer now as well. The top level pros, they get 2 or 3 weeks to downtime, and it's probably not enough, to be perfectly honest, with the amount of games you're playing, 60, 70 games a season. It's really tough on the body, and it just goes to show they've had a demanding pre-season, especially United, obviously travelling to America and having so many games over there and then coming back.
It's too much, isn't it, Ian? I mean, in your day, the players weren't flying around the world at the rate that they are today. And
no, I think that's a real thing. Part is getting over the jet lag and travel. I mean, Phil's very true to say that they had a lot of games pre-season, given that, and I think Ten Hag wanted them to do that. I think he wanted them to get to a peak fitness. Backfired a little because of the injuries now, but in some ways I'm with Ten Hag, because I thought we didn't see a lean and mean enough United over the last few seasons. Want to see a fitter group of players. But maybe this time, this pre-season, just a little bit much, given that they probably played 60, 70 games last season. So you've got it. You've got to go with the sports scientist, but as a manager you want to have your best fitness players. At the moment that's hurting United. And
like the United of old, like when you were here, we always used to see a 90th minute winner. We would always, under Sir Alex Ferguson, you knew they were going to come out of the blocks, and they did try late on. There was a surge, but not in the same way.
They did huff and puff, didn't they? Ian, they huffed and puffed, and credit to Palace. I thought, obviously we spoke before, they were outstanding defensively, and listen, they brought Garnacho on. He was sharp when he came on, but overall, we just didn't have that. We just weren't ruthless enough in front of goal today, United, and it's very disappointing, because before the game we was in a high hopes of obviously coming away with a victory, and it wasn't to be. And like you say, you have to dust yourself off in these games. Games are around the corner, so the attitude has to be right. They have to come here on Tuesday night and put a performance on, because today wasn't good enough.
Another home game as well in front of the fans, so important.
They've got to remedy this home form very quickly. Because this used to be a really fearsome place to come in and play. And starting the people looking maybe around coming out and thinking, they're not as difficult to play here. And that's to go from not unbeaten in 31 games now to 2 defeats in a short time. That's why people are booing. They don't expect to see it. Now, Ten Hag needs to get his best players back. He needs to get his players that he signed at peak performance, and Hoyland's one of them, getting back amongst the goals, which I think he'll get. So it's just a case of getting their best players in the game. We didn't see enough of Bruno today. We didn't see enough of Marcus Rashford. We didn't see enough of Hoyland, for me. But actually, I thought it was outstanding when he came on. But I think they've got to move the ball quicker.
Yeah, it's that end product as well, isn't it? And obviously there was lots of chat about Harry Kane, for example, coming here. I think it would be so different if they had a player like that just to finish some of the chances.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, I was very surprised that they didn't obviously go all out to get Harry, to be perfectly honest. But listen, they've gone with Højlund. Obviously, he's one for now and the future. But listen, we've got enormous pressure on him now because obviously the team are struggling, and you're only as good as your front players. And you know, it's going to take time. Obviously, he's not had a pre-season, which is not helpful. But I'm sure he'll find his feet. Obviously, start scoring goals, and when he does that, I'm sure you've got a bit of a player on your hands.